Hi, it's Ben. For those of you who have seen the Raspberry Pi PiHole video, this is sort of similar, but we're doing it on the ESP32-S2 Featherlight TFT device from Adafruit. So basically, I'm using software that was written and edited, well, written by somebody and edited by Adafruit, Lady Ada, and it is essentially, they call it ESP-hole. So what does it do? It becomes a DNS server. This little teeny device, this itty bitty thing here, has Wi-Fi. So basically, it is running a mini DNS server of a sort. So it comes up, it grabs a list of domains that say you don't want to see. So for ads, all the, the clicky ones, all the little boxes that appear. I'll sort of show you a before and after of what it does, but it blocks all these domains. So you point your client at this for DNS instead of at Google or whatever your router is, or whatever you're set up for. You point it to this. This will then forward requests on, but it'll also block anything it has in a list. And I'll show you what the list is like, but say, let's call it clickad.com. If you go out to a page like Forbes.com, well, it goes out to Forbes. Your client does a DNS lookup, gets the IP address, and goes to Forbes. Forbes then responds going, oh, here's my index page, my HTML page, and it will load things. But part of what's in these web pages are other links to ad space. And what happens is when it does those lookups, the lookups go through this and say, nah, I'm not going to go there. And I'll show you the file and just sort of how it works. It's super slick, it's lightweight, not necessarily the fastest thing, but this really isn't meant to be an enterprise class DNS blocker, like a true RPZ, response policy zone based DNS server like an Infoblox or an efficient IP or Bind, where you can set up and take all these different sources and make just tens of thousands of lists to block. And also you can add actions on those servers to say, don't just block this, actually redirect them to a different web page that says, security violation, you've been owned, contact support at, mycompany.com or whatever. So I'll show you how to set this up. It's pretty quick and easy, and I'll show you sort of the files, and it's pretty effective, and I think you'll be surprised by the before and after for something so teensy, 25 bucks. Let's check it out. Here is the web page for the ESP-hole on Adafruit, and it runs you through kind of the code, and if you want to build a case, they can have schematics you can download and Android settings. It's pretty sweet. I will put a link to this in the description. Hello, so here is our ESP32-S2, and right now it's just running a very basic Hello World script. And here, I hope you can see, it only has this code.py, which is the Hello World library. So what we're going to do is I've already downloaded the ESP TFT UF2 file, and also it comes with, you need this a Wi-Fi _ template.json, which you change to secrets.json. Okay, here is the Xcode. So basically you just replace your Wi-Fi SSID. I'm sorry, you leave that alone. You change the SSID to whatever your home SSID is, the password, then leave the hostname ESP-hole. And this is interesting, the host file. This is where it grabs this hosts.txt file, which we will take a look at. Basically, that is the list of servers to block. So let's put our little sucker in the right mode. So you push the two buttons here, real quick, click, click. Oh, got it right. So now that we have the new Finder window, let's get rid of this eject. So what we're going to do is we're going to find our device, which is the Feather S2 Boot 2. And we're going to drag over what I've already created is a secret file that, here, I'm just going to put this here so you can kind of see it. It loads relatively quickly. And our ESP2 TFT hole 2 UF2 file. Oh, it only has the code on there. It did not bring over the secrets.json file, so let's do that now. Let's reboot it. There we go. So now it has connected to my network with an address of 172.16.0.27, which is important. And now it's downloading the block list, checking 7,356 domains. That's a lot of domains. Okay, so it has downloaded the 7,355 domains into a file called hosts.txt. Let's see what's in there. So let's make this a little bigger. So inside this file has a list of domains. So here's the file that it's looking at, and it's local. I'm actually looking at the ESP-Hole's file system right now. You could add a domain in here if you wanted, but let's just grab like the first one, for example, and see what happens when we do a DNS lookup for that. So let's just grab the first host name in the host.txt file that we found on the file system for the ESP-Hole. And if I now just go into the command line and I want to dig that host name, let's see what happens. Okay, and it says status, there's no error. It says recursion not request but not available, but there's also no answer. But now what if I look at like Google? I'm going to say at 8.8.8, which is Google's name server. They do have the record. So basically this ESP-Hole is blocking me from getting this record, and that's how it kind of works. Pretty slick, pretty simple. Here we have the code. Looks like it was originally by, I don't know what S60 SC is, but with changes by Lady Ada. And it kind of tells you, you know, the different things, but like, you know, it says nah with an exclamation point. Let's do a search on nah exclamation point. Well, how about just nah? There it is. So if you wanted it to print something else, you could change that if you wanted it to print something else, or perhaps you want to have a different file. Okay, so now that the ESP-Hole is on and enabled, I have this IP address of 172.16.0.27. I'm going to go into my Wi-Fi connection, advanced, DNS, and my default is 172.16.0.1. That is my gateway, also my DNS. So I'm going to change it to be the same IP address as the ESP-Hole. Say okay, apply. Now, here's a good example of a site. This is retrogames.cz. It's fun. They've got all sorts of cool retro games. Right now I was playing some Atari Adventure. But note, look at all this ads. There's an ad on the top. There's another here. Here's an ad. There's some other things here. There's another one here. So I loaded this before I changed it. Oh, it already has one nah. A nah means it blocked something. So let's reload this page and see what happens now that we're sending our DNS through this little ESP-Hole. Oh, the counter's going up. We're at 5 nahs, 7. Now remember, you query out for this web page, and then the web page comes back and tries to link you to all these other sites. Well, now let's take a look at the page. No, there was double ads on the top. They're gone. There's an ad, 2 ads on this side, 1 on this side. I mean, I think there was one even tucked in the middle here, which is now gone. So pretty effective little thing. I have noticed some slight issues with getting to some secure websites like HTTPS sites. I'm not sure what that is. It may be blocking some of the intermediary sites that you need in order to validate. Oh, there's another one just blocked. Yeah, it might be blocking some things to get some to validate certs. But pretty effective, pretty quick, pretty cool, neat little thing.